USC Democrats and Republicans face off in a debate covering a wide variety of topics. Find out the details next.
Although tax day has been extended for LA County, we have more on why local residents may fear filing their taxes this year.
The Dodgers celebrate the legacy of Jackie Robinson and his trailblazing career. All coming up on ATVN.
Annenberg TV News is next.
The spring 2025 student debate between the Trojan Democrats and the USC Republicans is happening right now at Tommy's Place. Hi, I'm Lawrence Sung.
And I'm Kayla Quintero. The debate is featuring 6 members of the 2 political clubs and is being hosted by the Political Student Assembly.
Reporter Gianmarco Velasquez is live at the debate. Gianmarco, how's the debate going so far?
Now, the debate just started off, and just a few minutes ago, the line was all the way down to the corner of people who are ready and anticipating the spring 2025 debate. Now, this debate brings together the USC Trojan Republicans as well as the campus Democrats, where they will debate a variety of topics. Among them, immigration and the state of it in the U.S., opinions on bureaucracy and the Department of Government Efficiency, as well as tariffs and their effect on the economy. And this year, the Political Student Assembly has expanded their format, including a live question submission system that gathers attendee questions and incorporates them into the debate.
Polarization has become so widespread in the United States, and a lot of people are really frustrated with this administration. A lot of people are really excited about what this administration is doing. But I think that the most valuable thing we can do is actually try and understand each other throughout this divide. We never want to be in a place where we don't even come close to understanding why half of the country could vote this way. At the end of the day, we really want people to understand each other. They don't have to agree, but at least hear each other out.
Now, as we mentioned, this year, a lot of anticipation was in the air, and I'm here with one of the attendees, Anusha. Anusha, talk to me. What is one of the issues that you're most excited to see covered tonight?
I'm most excited to see immigration being covered tonight. As somebody who is a second-generation immigrant, so both my parents did immigrate from India. Immigration is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. This country truly is built off of its immigrants, and so I'm very passionate about immigration and excited to see what's being said tonight. In both sides of the party. So yeah, immigration is definitely the topic that I'm most excited to hear about today.
Amazing. And why do you think it's so important to have some space like this, a political space where people of opposing opinions can come together and kind of find a common ground?
Civil discourse is incredibly important. I think that for the progress of our country, having people from both sides discuss with one another through a debate format their opinions and finding common ground is incredibly important. And I think especially in a college campus, that is invaluable.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Anusha. And as we said, the debate is currently underway and it's set to end at 7. That's all for now. Live here at Tommy's Place, I'm Gianmarco Velasquez. Back to you guys.
A U.S. District Court judge scolded the Trump administration earlier today for doing nothing to facilitate the return of a Maryland man deported to El Salvador. The Trump administration admits Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deported because of an administrative error. His wife is pleading for his return.
If you can hear me, stay strong. My heart aches for my husband, who should have been here leading our Easter prayers. Instead, I find myself pleading with the Trump administration and the Bukele administration to stop playing political games with the life of Kilmar.
The U.S. District Court judge ordered the government to turn over all information about the deportation. She still says she is considering holding the government's attorneys in contempt.
Not that Mr. Abrego Garcia is serving some sort of criminal sentence for a crime committed in El Salvador or that he's being held pursuant to Salvadoran law. There's no evidence of that anyway. And so the court is saying you're playing games here. You can have him returned. You just aren't doing it.
While Trump accuses Abreu Garcia of being a MS-13 gang member, his attorneys deny any gang involvement. Abreu Garcia entered the U.S. illegally, but a judge ordered that he could not be sent back to El Salvador.
Today is the dreaded tax day when many owe the IRS more money. Reporter Feli Pelego shows us why tax filings are down this year.
Free Tax Prep LA is offering families help filing their tax returns. Filers need a Social Security number or an 18 number. That's a taxpayer ID for undocumented individuals.
What we do is we pair up IRS certified tax preparers who are volunteers with our Los Angelinos community. Anybody who makes less than $67,000 is eligible to file their taxes for free. So by allowing them to get their taxes done by a volunteer, they don't have to go to a paid preparer. They get to keep more of their refund in their pocket.
According to the IRS, the government has already received 90 million returns. That is down 10% from this time last year. Lee says the number of undocumented applicants has declined.
Because this collaborative includes over 60 organizations, it's a really good way to see, our numbers dropping for ITIN applications. Are you not seeing as many immigrant or undocumented individuals coming through your doors? So there's definitely been a drop.
Anabela Molina has her own tax service in Huntington Park. She says her business is down 20% this year.
I am very sad this year. It's I did this year less taxes than last year. Last 200 people, more or less, that have ITIN number are afraid. They told me, we are afraid. I'm hoping that this government is going to give an amnesty with people that they have good criminal history and paying their taxes like 10 years.
Olivia Cuevas is a Mexican immigrant, waited until today to file her taxes, due in part because she is concerned about recent deportations. I waited till today due to transportation, and I was sick and scared. My daughter didn't have time to take me. LA County taxpayers get an automatic tax extension until October 15 of this year because of the January wildfires. For Annenberg Media, I'm Feli Pliego.
The Undocumented Trojan Success Assembly, or UTSA, recently held their elections. We talked to the current assistant director about her accomplishments.
But I was able to speak in front of some members of campus life, campus activities, the provost, and I really made sure to advocate for more career center resources for the UndocuPlus students. But I think that aside, aside from having the big conversations and the planning and the framework, I would say cultivating that sense of community.
UTSA is shifting its focus from advocacy to community for USC's undocumented students. Some events this year were the Healing Your Inner Child Wellness Festival, their allyship workshop, and a beach day at Cabrillo Tide Pools.
Honestly, the most important thing that for this upcoming year is making sure students feel safe, making sure students don't feel like there's a burden on them, and that's really what me and our team are just wanting to make sure we do. So we're having undocu-talks as well as picnics, allyship meetings as well. There are some things we're planning on financial aid workshops, so workshops, a career fair, so things that are more catered to, that we are just like every other student on campus. Yes, we have our own struggles, but we also are Trojans and a part of the Trojan family, so providing that inner circle is utmost priority here.
UTSA is hosting a free mindfulness-based event tonight and has a Know Your Rights workshop next Tuesday. Check out Engage SC to learn more.
A perfect storm of financial challenges is prompting LA County to cut its upcoming budget by $89 million. Here's how that breaks down. Most county departments would have to cut spending by 3%. There's no plan for layoffs, but 310 vacant jobs would be eliminated. The county would save $50 million by delaying new equipment purchases, cutting supplies, and some public programs. Why the shortfall? The county CEO cites an expected $2 billion in wildfire recovery costs, $4 billion to settle the largest sex abuse case settlement in U.S. history, declining property tax revenues, and potential federal funding cuts.
Our sustained decline in our revenues couldn't come at a worse time. We find ourselves in the midst of mounting and simultaneous budget pressures. County departments submitted more than $2.4 billion in budget requests, most of which we were unable to fund. The needs are just too great, and there are not enough funding to go around. The county will get over $1 billion in new sales tax money.
Those funds will go towards affordable housing, services for the unhoused, and to local cities.
Scientists just discovered a new way to treat one of the most common sexually transmitted diseases in the world. Gepotidacin is a new oral treatment for gonorrhea. It's an antibiotic created for urinary tract infections and could be the first alternative treatment option for gonorrhea since the 1990s. Gonorrhea is the second most common STD behind chlamydia. In 2023, there were more than 209,000 cases in the U.S. In California, just over 74,000, and here in LA County, just over 26,000 cases were reported.
Well, the more different drugs we have to treat gonorrhea, the better. So instead of treating with the same drug over and over again, which is a recipe for disaster and a recipe for developing resistance, so the more information there is about treatment for STDs, the more people can be confident that if they get tested, they can be effectively treated. Sexually active people are recommended to get tested at least once a year.
The current treatment for gonorrhea is injected antibiotics, but the bacteria is becoming more resistant to those. The new medication should be available later this year.
USC Hospitality and Trojan Shop Local joined forces to bring dumplings to campus.
Plus, the Trump administration is looking to revoke visas of narco corrido singers. We'll hear more from an expert.
Ice Cube leaves his mark at the TCL Chinese Theater. We'll talk about the rapper's legacy in this week's Hot Topic Tuesday.
Popular narco corrido singer Peso Pluma was on stage at Coachella over the weekend. The narco corrido is a Mexican music genre that some say glorifies the drug cartel life. The music is banned in Mexico, and now the U.S. is revoking visas of band members.
That kind of style of music is almost American, just because it's storytelling, and that is the point. I feel like this is not unnecessary, but for maybe a white majority that would be scared of something like this, of other people and their stories and that honesty, it would be easier for them to simply not acknowledge this if they didn't have to hear it.
Along with Peso Pluma, popular narco corrido singers include Luis Conriquez and the band Los Alegres del Barranco. The U.S. revoked the visas of the members of Los Alegres del Barranco. The band had to cancel an upcoming concert in the Bay Area. One Latin American studies expert says the style of music is an artistic expression of a greater problem in Mexico.
Narco corridos are just the incorporation of the topic of a social issue that is of significant concern, and that is explored in different ways. One of them being the successful emergence of new characters who did indeed become powerful and were also able to engage with figures in power, and from there, build these empires of violence, of fear, of death.
Originally, corrido music was created to tell folk stories and has been around more than a century.
The USC Taste of LA series is back with bold flavors and handcrafted dumplings from the local business Dumplin' by Aro.
I think it's a great opportunity also for us as students, like for greater diversity of foods, because we always have like the same stores and everything, and I personally love Korean food, so I'm so happy that this is here.
I think that's really amazing that they're being inclusive and allowing vendors or small businesses to come and showcase their food. So I think it's really cool. It's very inclusive.
The USC hospitality event is hosted in collaboration with Trojan Shop Local. The university-led program aims to expose the USC campus to the diverse small businesses that can be found in neighboring communities.
We want to invest in our local businesses and expose them to the USC community as much as we can. We have students international from all over the world, and we want to show them what our small business here in Los Angeles are all about and to give them a taste of home.
The pop-up will be open at the RTCC food court from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. through Thursday on the USC mobile app.
It's time to see what some of our favorite celebrities are up to on a Hot Topic Tuesday.
Yeah, so Amelia, I don't know if you know, but Ice Cube was just immortalized at the TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood. You see it right there, putting his hands and feet in the cement, literally cementing his legacy.
Yeah, it's something that only the greats have been doing, and I personally haven't heard of Ice Cube. I know that he was a very popular rapper in the 90s with some hits. Caleb, have you heard of any of them?
Of course, it was a good day, Boys in the Hood. How can you not hear about Ice Cube?
You know, and speaking of hip hop and music, one of the original cast members of Hamilton is actually coming back and rejoining the cast in New York. Leslie Odom Jr. is back on stage, and he is loved by many fans. You know, I saw Hamilton twice, once here in LA and once back in New York. And I have to say it is great, but there's nothing compares to that original soundtrack, you know?
Yeah, I do know. Let me tell you, Amelia, as someone who listened to the soundtrack multiple times, I want to be in the room where it happens when Leslie Odom Jr. makes his return to Broadway. But unfortunately, I don't have the money. But here's the good thing. We get to talk about the great weather that we're seeing here in Southern California. So I want to toss it over to Lorelai to tell us all about it.
Thanks, Caleb. I'm Lorelai Rohrbach, and this is the live weather forecast. Well, let's take a look at the current conditions. As you can see, 63 degrees and a little bit of sun is a nice treat after a mainly cloudy and chilly day. Well, speaking of minimal sun, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast because unfortunately, we're not going to see as much sun as we did last week. On Wednesday, there is going to be patchy fog and drizzle until about 11 a.m., and it'll be another mainly cloudy day. On Thursday, it'll be partly sunny, but hold on to your hats because wind gusts can get up to 15 miles per hour. And as your weather girl, I feel obligated to mention to you that there is a 20% chance of showers, so just in case you're prepared. That 20% chance of showers will continue on into Friday, and then it'll clear up, and Saturday and Sunday will be sunny just in time for Easter weekend. Well, that's it for the weather, and on this partly cloudy April 15th, we honor the iconic 42. Major League Baseball teams across the country are honoring Jackie Robinson. It was this day in 1947 when Robinson broke the color barrier in the MLB.
Colorful on our souls, a mouth full of gold or a drummer's roll. Stories get told about us, that's why things so blah without us.
This is the video that the Dodgers and other MLB teams will show tonight. Players will step onto the field wearing Robinson's iconic number 42. Sports analyst Rob Parker talked about Robinson's impact.
Jackie Robinson stands by himself. I mean, he changed America. So he's not just a baseball player. We get it. He integrated baseball in 1947, but he made it where black people were proud to be black during a time when it was rough, you know, for black people in this country.
Well, Parker also talked about how USC baseball can continue Robinson's legacy. He urges scouts to go to neighborhoods and find young athletes who can really play ball but can't afford to go to these baseball showcases, which often cost $1,000 a weekend to get in front of scouts. Well,
you know, it wouldn't be ATVN Tuesday if we didn't talk baseball. USC infielder Avery Covarrubias was named the Big Ten Player of the Week as the Trojans continue to thrive. She's a runner, she's a track star. Madison White of the USC track and field team takes first place in multiple events at the Texas A&M meets this weekend. Madison, I may have a question for you a bit later. Fresh off a star-studded WNBA draft, the Trojans continue to send their players to the pros. All that and more coming up on ATVN Sports.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm JD Black.
And I'm Caleb Carter. Trojans to the W. For the third year straight, the USC women's basketball team has 2 players drafted in the WNBA. Huge congratulations to Kiki Ariafin and Rhea Marshall on their new threads for the future.
Hey Rhea, this is Morgan Tuck.
Wait, let me. Y'all can disconnect the call. Let's go. This is my family here with me.
Oh my God. Well, welcome. It's myself. Rashid is here also. So you have me and Rashid here.
Welcome, Rhea. Welcome.
Drafted number 4 overall to the Washington Mystics, Kiki Ariafin becomes USC's first player drafted in the top 10 since Ebony Hoffman in 2009. Rhea Marshall went 25th overall to the Connecticut Sun, capping off a great collegiate career.
Hey Rhea, this is...
When we think of name, image, and likeness, or NIL, we tend to think of the mega deals received by football and basketball players. But USC has made it so its Olympic sport athletes don't get left behind.
I got a Hollister deal through an NIL collective, and so super fun because they sent me USC like game day merch and hoodies and like an outfit to style, and then I got to go around campus and create content and post it.
I think getting in front of like the brands, just to put a face to the people behind the brands is a good opportunity. Really just meeting a whole bunch of different brands is probably like the most thing I'm looking forward to.
The second annual USC Shield NIL Summit was a place where all athletes were able to ask questions and interact with potential brand partners as they push toward a better financial future. Ever since NIL became officially available in 2021, USC has been at the forefront, hosting many of the top earners in the collegiate sports world. The NIL Summit not only allows athletes to be informed about potential brand deals, but think critically on how they are to conduct their business ventures moving forward.
Well, speaking of moving forward, I'm going to take a page out of Lorelei's book and look into the future because we got some big matchups in USC sports coming up. So let's take a look at the 5-day forecast of sports. So today we have baseball facing off against Hawaii, but even though there's no blue in the sky, there's quite a bit of blue in USC's schedule as we face against UCLA in various sports. We got on Wednesday, tennis facing off against UCLA, but our biggest game is Saturday night, home game, men's volleyball versus UCLA. Hope to see you guys in the Galen Center if your midterms are wrapping up. Caleb, back to you.
Thanks, JD, and that'll be all for ATVN Sports. Now over to Kayla to see how USC is continuing to pay it forward. Actually, we actually think about, how we want to do this and whether or not we want to do the Are You Kidding Me? Because JD, that was such a phenomenal way that you did it. But now we'll actually give it over to Kayla for
USG election season has kicked off.
They have a huge game on Thursday, right?
Huge.
Prior to that, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
And a warning tonight about a massive storm heading our way.
We're live here at the Galen Center.
What would y'all do if you had $2.5 million?
Music, art, and women empowerment.
And she put her stamp on Big Ten history.
Those are men swimming like fish.
Thanks for watching.
Annenberg TV News. You never miss an episode.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
So, live from the Halo is USC Annenberg's take on NPR's Tiny Desk concerts. This is like a platform for USC students and adjunct students just to perform and play their music for an audience.
In California, about 65% of former inmates reoffend and re-enter the prison system. For inmates who attend a program called Defy Ventures, the rate drops to under 15%. This week on Pay It Forward, we are highlighting the director of that program, who just so happens to be a USC professor. Marian Nye teaches sociology and researches prison policy at SC. Every week, she goes to prisons to teach inmates about entrepreneurship and business, but also how to start a new beginning. She says she only plays a small part in changing inmates' lives. Defy Ventures just offers an opportunity. They do the rest.
Incarcerated folks are creating second chances for themselves by acquiring enough business knowledge and personal change to come out of prison and go straight to work, or sometimes launch a business, but generally be super successful. If you can intersect the trajectory with opportunity, then you can initiate change. Let's be very mindful here of understanding that change doesn't come from me, right? Change comes from someone who's given an opportunity.
I spoke to a former inmate and an attendee of the program who turned opportunity into a second chance. He credits his success to the support system of the Defy Ventures community.
The events transported me for a day, right? From prison. My experience in prison up until that point had been largely confined and locked down. And so to basically go into an event that transported me for the day with all these normal people that breathe life and hope into me changed my perspective on what was possible for me.
Jason now works for Defy Ventures to help make the same change possible for others. His story is just one of hundreds who were impacted by the work of the program, and for that, we pay it forward. See you next week for Annenberg Media. I'm Amelia Paz. Back to you all at the desk.
Well, today we've had a very interesting show, but there's never a dull moment on ATVN, right? Well, thank you everyone for watching ATVN. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Lawrence Sal.
And I'm Kayla Quintero. For more coverage, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time. Good night.